What's good, Suns fans? I'm Rich Rubin. This is Suns' latest. Got the Lucky Suns 1977 autograph basketball, and we're going to kick things off with rumors. Suns are shopping Grayson Allen and Royce O'Neal. That is not new news, but maybe not even a rumor anymore. But just to get it out there, Grayson Allen will make 16.9, O'Neal 10.1 next season. Kind of a logjam with this type of player. Maybe the Suns want to go after Warriors' Jonathan Kuminga, who makes around 8 right now. I'm going to double check that. Suns make contact with Kuminga's reps. They made contact with Kuminga's reps last season when there were rumors about Kevin Durant going to the Warriors around the All-Star break. So this has been ongoing. And Warriors know that Kuminga has a good upside, 22. He's averaging 15, 4, and 2. Allen and O'Neal, I don't know if the Warriors need guys like that, but I don't know. You maybe throw in Nick Richards, or you mix and match between those three guys. Do a sign and trade, because that's really all the Suns can afford right now. Warriors looking for a first-round pick for Kuminga. Suns do not have that until the 2030s. So I think if it's easy and it's not such a hassle and they don't have to move around a whole lot of numbers, yeah, Kuminga's a guy that you pick up. I think if it becomes financially stupid, especially after the Suns feel like they have some breathing room right now, I don't think it's an emergency to pick up somebody like Kuminga. But you keep him on the back burner, keep him in the back of your mind. Kuminga looking for $25 million. He's not there yet. There are teams that might be willing to cough that up. There are teams that can afford that right now, and they're not jumping on it, which should also tell you something. Last year with Steph Curry, when Steph was injured, Kuminga came in, tore it up, had a 30-point game, looked like he was really consistent. And as soon as Steph came back, Kuminga got benched because he would look off Steph and try to get his own shot. And you can't do that when you have Steph Curry on your team and Steve Kerr is your coach. Curry is still the man. I firmly believe that. And Kuminga is still too young, even though he's incredibly good. But it didn't seem to work with the two of them on the court. And I don't know, maybe Steve Kerr knows a thing or two about basketball and who he has on his team. So shot selection can be an issue, but there's no question he can be effective. He can fill it up. He can get to the rim, and he really does want to score. And he's strong, and he's explosive, credible athlete, 22 years old, and he's been in the league for a few. So there's so much upside with Kuminga. Nobody really knows what kind of player he can be. My issue with Kuminga, unless Kuminga is that Steph Curry, we're going to get into Steph for just a second. Steph Curry is a shoot-first point guard. And it should be like that because he's the greatest shooter of all time. So he doesn't really have a traditional point guard looking to set him up first. And that's where the issues came up with him and Steph on the court at the same time. So if he doesn't have a point guard that's deferring to him as a scorer, it's been shown that he doesn't really mesh well. And no, Steph Curry is still as good as it gets. Let's do the argument about Steph Curry being a point guard. When Steph and Clay were playing together, who was the point guard? That should end the argument. I know he's not a traditional point guard, but you know what? In many ways, well, no, that's not true. I'm not gonna say that, but I was gonna take something back. Steph is also a shooting guard, but he is a shooting first point guard. Let me just put it this way: Steph is listed as guard or point guard on most media submissions. On the Warriors roster on Warriors.com, he is listed as guard. Whatever you want to do. But yeah, it's not really meshing with him and Steph Curry. And rookies in Warrior land don't really stick around unless they're Steph, Clay, or Draymond. So I don't know. If Kuminga comes to Phoenix, we don't have a point guard. We got Devin Booker, who can get assists, but do you really want Booker doing that? We talked about this in the last video. Is Booker, do you want point Book, or maybe this is why they signed Colin Gillespie and Monty Morris. These guys are true points. And Book can run point if needed, and them's the point guards we got. I don't like the situation the Suns are in. I don't know if Tyus Jones was the answer. He fell out of favor right around game 30 or 40. It was really strange, but he seemed to be a pass-first point guard. What was weird was he launched a lot of threes with KD and Booker on the court. Last year was just a fustercluck. All right, let's just chalk it up to that. So until the Suns figure out their point guard issue, I don't feel the need for Kuminga yet. The timing just really isn't there either. Another rumor was, for a minute, I had heard that the Suns were interested in former Defensive Player of the Year guard Marcus Smart, but that's not going to happen. Marcus Smart signed a two-way with the Lakers. The Suns showed a little bit of interest, but Marcus Smart, who I always liked, who I always thought was an overachiever, kind of been out of commission the last couple of years with the Wizards, and before that with Memphis. And I'm thinking maybe the Suns dodged a bullet with another guard who can't stay on the floor. And with a guy like Smart, it's not the years, it's the mileage. He hasn't been in the league too long, but he's definitely showing the wear and tear because of his game. That guy is a hustler, and he's on the floor a lot. Oso Ighodaro played out in the Summer League. 12.2 points, 8.5 rebounds, 1.8 steals. He shot 57% overall in 29.3 minutes. He was good last year, but looked kind of lost sometimes during games. But he got in. I didn't even think he was going to make the roster, let alone get in the game. He looked like a different player. He looked like a much better player. I'll stop talking about possibly moving him. Preseason is gonna explain a lot, but I would like to see something happen with him because there's a lot of upside with him. New faces on the Suns. So lost in all the shuffle of all the draft picks and all the hoopla. Well, excuse me, the draft pick was rookie Rasheer Fleming, number 31 pick out of St. Joe's. He's not 31 years old. Prototype power forward, small forward quickness. Incredible wingspan, really athletic, kinetic, never stops moving, incredible energy guy. 6'9", 7'5" wingspan, loves to defend, loves to play aggressive, nose to the rim, always came ready to play at St. Joe's, and that's my issue. St. Joe's did really well in the tournament with Rasheer, but they don't always play top-tier competition. So don't really know if he went up against the best of the best all the time. He was very good in college. A little bit more difficult to gauge, but guys from smaller schools have made bigger impacts. Hearing from other college players that Rasheer is the most underrated player in the draft. And a lot of people can't believe that he fell to 31. And I think that has to do with the smaller school and just, people not really sure about his upside. But he never stopped moving during Summer League. I saw a couple of highlights, and I saw one of the games, his wingspan, he disrupts on defense, and he totally seems to have a sixth sense of where the ball might be going. I would really like to see the Suns get a good look at him. Once again, preseason might have a lot to do with that. Former Laker, out of the NBA since 2018, Nigel Hayes Davis. Now, like some people have heard about this guy because he was kind of heralded because of the EuroLeague, killing it in Europe. Two-time All-EuroLeague first-team selection. Hayes Davis holds the record for most points scored in a EuroLeague game. 50 points against Alba Berlin in 2023. That's a lot of points. Won the EuroLeague title in 2025, earning the Final Four MVP award. That is what they call it over there. He is back in the NBA. Power forward, 6'8", 227. He's still kind of a mystery. He didn't get a whole lot of floor time with the Lakers. More to learn in preseason, I guess. But there's a buzz that this guy might be a sleeper. Good stuff. Let's see. Correction and chat. In a recent video, I was wrong. And I'm pretty good at calling out my own mistakes. I get excited when I do these things. I think I'm mellowing out a little bit more. You'll tell me. The Suns, I made a mistake and said the Suns had re-signed Bol Bol. I think that might have been wishful thinking on my part. I apologize. They didn't. I was wrong about that. Pointed out to me in the comments recently, so thank you. I stand corrected. Now, regarding Bol Bol, all the talent in the world, can't stay focused. You'd see him just kind of disappear on the court. You just see him kind of just like, I don't know where this guy is going. And then he'd play like an incredible two-guard, and he'd seem to take over games. So whoever picks him up, this might be his last hurrah. I'd love for him to figure it out and become consistent, but it's been 6 years. So is he uncoachable? His next coach will tell us. It just hasn't really worked out for him. I don't think he belongs in the G League. He's too talented, but he seems to be heading toward 12th man, a career as a 12th man. Fans love him. He is really fun to watch. I really wish something else would happen with him. Comments and chat. All right, new small feature, if it's worth it. So we got a couple of comments in the last video. Got a ton of comments in the last video. This is from @Khalib. On a recent Suns latest, I briefly covered the Pacific Division and mentioned that the upcoming Trailblazers would be, their season would be a nowhere season. And I think it's really healthy to have good competition and going at each other, especially within the division. Suns fans could care less what Blazers fans thinks. Same as Blazer fans for Suns. So @Khalib in the comments wrote, nowhere year for the Blazers. You aren't in touch with the NBA or reality. Thanks for Kamara and taking Nurk from us. We got the Chinese Jovic. I think he means Jokic. Excuse me. Okay. We got Dame and we got Drew Holiday this summer. What did you guys do? Oh yeah, you lost Kevin Durant and gave Bradley Beal $100 million to get lost. Long year for the setting Suns. All right, some valid points. My response, 35-year-old Damian Lillard will not play a game next season. His Achilles is ruptured or torn or broken, whatever you want to call it. You don't have Dame for the entire year. And some are saying, well, he'll come back before the year's out. Yeah, you need Dame for a whole year with that team. Also, Dame is 35. So by the time, and his birthday was this month, July. So by the time he comes back, he'll be 36. He will have been out of the league for a year. I'm not knocking Dame. I'd take Dame in a second. But if you're saying that we got Dame, it's like, well, you don't got him next year, and that's the worst injury you can get. The only guy that I can remember that came back from an Achilles injury inside of a calendar year was J.J. Barea with the Mavericks. He came back in like 10 and a half months. So minimum 10 and a half months because Barea was a lot younger than he was. Yeah, 36-year-old Dame coming back after an Achilles. I hope he kicks ass. I love Damian Lillard. Drew Holiday is 35 and injury prone. Yes, I wanted him on the Suns. I still want him on the Suns. But if you're going to champion Drew Holiday, then we have to both be very transparent about it. 35, injury prone. He like a lot of tough defensive minded guards, like Drew Holiday. Oh, I'm sorry, like Marcus Smart, who the Lakers got. They got a lot of mileage on them because of the game that they play. But he's as tough as they come. Most important, Drew Holiday has said that he doesn't want to be in Portland. Okay. I don't think there's anything more to say about that. Yes, you got Kamara, and we took Nurk for DeAndre Ayton a few years ago. But the Suns could have gotten rid of Ayton for a Big Mac and a folding chair. Nobody really cared about Ayton, and I'm glad that he's still gone. And then you dropped him, which is what the Lakers are going to do. You're right about Kamara. He's good. The Suns were trying to trade KD at the All-Star break last year, and no, the Suns didn't lose KD. They actively shopped him, and they traded him for Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks and Kaman Maliwatch, the draft pick. Not a bad haul for a 35-year-old superstar. I'm talking a lot about 35-year-old players, aren't I? Who did you get for Dame first time around? You got Ayton, Kamara, and Drew Holiday. Kamara's good. Ayton did nothing. And Drew never played a game as a Blazer and still doesn't want to. So Beal was a locker room cancer for the Suns after the All-Star break, and sometimes you got to eat it. So you're right about Beal. And it sucks that we have to stretch it, but he's not going to change the thing for the Clippers, and we're getting younger. So thanks for the comments. No, it's all good. And it's really important to have this back and forth. With anybody who wants to comment, you know how to do it. All right, Suns Legend of the Day. This is a unique one because it's not, I swapped out posters. There's Truck Robinson's Nike poster. I got a ton more Nike posters. I'll put a few of them up as we go. So this is a guy who only played for the Suns for 2 years. Gail Goodrich, 6'1", 170 out of UCLA, before Kareem / Lou Alcindor, before Bill Walton started winning championships and made UCLA legendary. Gail Goodrich won the first 2 UCLA national championships with Coach Wooden. In 63 and 64, he won the first one, and their regular season record, a perfect 30-0, nicknamed Stumpy by Lakers teammate Elgin Baylor. Goodrich was overlooked his entire career, going all the way back to high school when he won the LA City title. In 1961, he had 29 points, and he broke his ankle in the third quarter and continued to play. But drafted by the Lakers in 65, not a lot of court time behind prime Jerry West, and then eventually Archie Clark. He was a real good player, didn't see a whole lot of action. Lakers lost Goodrich to the Suns in 1968 when the league expanded to Milwaukee and Phoenix. Bucks went to Milwaukee, and the Suns showed up in Phoenix. Total stud. Right out of the box, 23 points per game, 6th in the league, had more than a few 40-point explosions, made the All-Star team. Along with the original Sun, Dick Van Arsdale, Gail Goodrich was the first All-Star the Suns ever had. Van Arsdale, since he was the first Sun ever signed in expansion, gets all that credit, but Goodrich was right there with him, and a higher scorer. This is a bizarre stat. He is the leader in highest average minutes per game in Suns franchise history. Just 2 seasons of doing that. It wouldn't have lasted, but oh my God. By the way, it's really hot in here. That's why I'm wiping sweat. The following year, the Suns traded Goodrich to the Lakers for center Mel Counts, who was a serviceable 7-footer, but not an all-star. And it's important to point out that Goodrich really became a legend in the NBA after he left the Suns, but he was still a Sun. So just really quick, in 71-72, when the Lakers won 33 straight games, and they won the title, and at that time they had the best record in the history of the NBA at 69 wins. Goodrich was their leading scorer at 25.9, and then they gentlemen sweep the Knicks in the finals 5-1. Goodrich was their leading scorer again at 25 points per game. He was unstoppable. The Lakers don't have that legendary season without Gail Goodrich. He led the Lakers in scoring 5 times with 5 assists per game. I saw Goodrich destroy the Suns in about 7 minutes. In 1974, Lakers visit town, Kareem's first year. Lakers run out to like a 12-6 lead, and then Goodrich starts going off and starts doing this head fake perimeter thing. And he made 5 buckets in a row. He was like Gail Goodrich, 10, the Suns nothing, the Suns 6, Suns call a timeout. He was one of the first pure shooters I ever saw. He was that good. He was that unstoppable. And remember, 6'1", 170, little, stocky dude, not too fast, never missed. Gail Goodrich, 25. His jersey hangs next to Kobe and Kareem and Magic and Wilt and Baylor and West and Worthy. It is hanging in Crypto.com right along with all the other Laker legends. And you don't hear about Gail Goodrich that much. Yes, 2 years with the Suns, but first All-Star along with Dick Van Arsdale. He's not in the Ring of Honor. He's not going to be. But I don't like the fact that a lot of people don't talk about how great Gail Goodrich was. And he was that good. Gail Goodrich is your Suns legend of the day. All right, Suns fans, thanks for tuning in. I apologize for the heat. I'll run a fan next time. I'll catch you next time on Suns Latest.